Senator Risa Hontiveros raises a national security alarm following the apprehension of businessman Joseph C., who allegedly misrepresented himself as a Filipino and was revealed to be appointed to the Philippine Coast Guard Service in 2018. C is the chairman of the mining company Global Ferronical Holdings Incorporated. He was recently detained by the Bureau of Immigration for reportedly holding fraudulently acquired Philippine identity documents. Hontiveros' office discloses a PCG document dated July 26, 2018, showing that pursuant to an HPCG memorandum, C was appointed by then-Admiral Elson Hermojino to the service of the PCG Auxiliary Executive Squadron with the honorary rank of Auxiliary Commodore. In a statement, Hontiveros says C is like Alice Guo Part 2. She explains that C posed as a Filipino and has a fake passport and fake IDs. Alice Guo is the suspended mayor of Bamban Tarlac linked to alleged Philippine offshore gaming operator hubs in her town. She has been questioned in Senate probes over possible ties to Chinese syndicates. The senator also says that while joining the Philippine Coast Guard Auxiliary is voluntary and non-government, she is sad to imagine that C managed to access people and events where the country's national security can be discussed. Citing her source, Hontiveros further says that C joined PCG in 2018 and received an honorary rank under the previous administration. Hontiveros says C gained access not just to the local government but also to the PCG, which is the agency that is tasked to protect the security of the country's maritime territories. Hontiveros also exposes that during former President Rodrigo Duterte's state visit to China in 2016, C's company entered into a partnership with Chinese state-owned enterprise Baiyin Non-Ferrous Group Company Limited. The agreement involved mining operations in Palawan, which is a sensitive and strategic location in the ongoing territorial dispute between the Philippines and China. According to Hontiveros, if C is indeed a Chinese national masquerading as Filipino, the Senate must immediately probe his affiliations, background, and the circumstances under which he obtained his Philippine documents. Defense Secretary Teodoro says no threats have been detected against Philippine troops stationed at the VRP Sierra Madre in Ayungin Shoal, despite reports of increased Chinese vessel presence in the area. In an interview on Monday, August 25, Teodoro says that while they don't see any threats, the troops are always ready.
At this time, wala po kami nakikita.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
But of course, laging listo. Hindi mo alam kung ano nasa isip ng mga yan.
Teodoro also clarifies that there is no confirmed information suggesting that the Chinese vessels are carrying heavy weapons, urging the public to be wary of fake news.
Wala kaming confirmed information about that. Walang konfirmasyon. At mag-ingat tayo sa fake news. Katulad, di ba, how many weeks ago, hinatak na daw yung Sierra Madre. Hindi man totoo.
Navy spokesperson for the West Philippine Sea, Rear Admiral Roy Vincent Trinidad, previously reported sightings of at least 25 Chinese vessels and 2 aircraft near Ayungin Shoal. The sightings, which started on August 21, included 11 smaller service boats, 5 larger ships, and 9 maritime militia vessels, along with a helicopter and a drone. Survey shows that a great majority of Filipino adults nationwide distrust China and see the country as the greatest threat to the Philippines, mainly due to its aggressive actions in the West Philippine Sea. Based on Octa Research's tugon ng masa survey released on Monday, August 25, 85% of Filipinos distrust China. On the other hand, only 15% of respondents say they trust China, with 14% of them saying they have a fair amount of trust, while 1% expressed a great deal of trust over China. Meanwhile, the survey also shows that 74% of Filipinos think China is the greatest threat to the country, while at far second are Russia and North Korea at 4% each. The survey was conducted from July 12 to 17, 2025, with 1,200 adult respondents nationwide. According to security expert Chester Cabaza, the findings of the survey mirror the real condition of the bilateral and strategic relationship between the Philippines and China in recent decades. Cabaza notes that China's supposedly faltering perception of reality, framing the country as an aggressor in the West Philippine Sea, does not help easing the mistrust. Cabaza adds that Filipinos will not trust China as long as it exercises dangerous maneuvers from ramming, water cannon and laser attacks, and blocking supply lines to Filipino fishermen and Navy Marines. However, Octa Research in a statement says that while the West Philippine Sea dispute is a big factor in Filipinos' negative perception of China, respondents also expressed economic and social factors. According to Octa Research, Filipinos not only view China as a direct threat to the country's sovereignty and territorial integrity, but also express concerns about its economic activities and social impact on local industries and communities. Senator Ping Lacson says a surgical solution instead of a Band-Aid one should be applied by the Department of Public Works and Highways in addressing the alleged irregularities in flood control projects. Lacson's statement comes after the latest incident involving a DPWH district engineer who allegedly tried to bribe Batangas 1st District Representative Leandro Leviste to drop his probe into reported irregularities in the province's infrastructure projects. Leviste, in a statement announcing that he will file a case against the district engineer, identifies him as Abelardo Calalo. Calalo is now under police custody after being arrested on August 22. DPWH Secretary Manuel Bonoan has ordered the suspension of Calalo. However, Lacson says kicking out erring personnel is just one simple solution. Lacson says the problem is already systemic, so the solution needs to be surgical. He adds that it should be operated on and could not be patched by Band-Aid solutions anymore. Lacson also found amiss that the DPWH district engineer appeared to be serving supposedly a bagman of a contractor, which the senator said must be very powerful. Lacson questions why Calalo himself offered the bribe to Leviste. According to Lacson, the offer to Congressman Leviste should be done by a contractor, not by the district engineer. Lacson says the DPWH should go back to the drawing board and not rely too much on the discretion of district engineers, which he said could be compromised. Lacson further says the congressmen have influence in DPWH as to who they want to appoint as district engineer, so they would be under their control. Citing an incumbent House lawmaker as a source, Lacson says there are 67 salons involved in flood control projects.